The reason why we all want to get smarter in our own secretive way is because of the fact that we are insecure about our own intelligence. When we view other people, both in school or work, we tend to view them on a certain metric. Some people below us and some people above us. By learning about those both in each category, we learn more about ourselves and therefore we become smarter. School does this with our grades, and work does this with its own pay rates and benefits. That said, however, many adults past the education system do not think about learning. They tend to go to work, get the job done, and repeat. And that's what learning is. It's the crux of being able to be repetitive over and over. However, the more I dived into reading and understanding content as a whole, I've come up with a solution that will not only make you smarter in the long run, but be a realistic way to improve on every area of life. Hello, if you don't know me, I'm Arnel Arcega. I'm one of the healthiest authors and writers on this platform. As such, I teach people how to read and write, all the while advocating for education. The main difference between me and school is the fact that I do not believe in the school education system. With how rigged it is and how it shapes our own intelligence, there are many criteria that goes with education, and it doesn't involve grades. What I'm here to tell you is that from my experience as an author and reader, I've learned a lot through books. And what I want to share out will guarantee success in every area of life depending on what you're looking for. Let's talk about education. As I said in the intro, education is one that I firmly believe is handled based on our own level. As you are watching this video, you are currently at a certain level. You are either here, 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 or here. Somewhere, if we put you on a graph with 100 men or 100 women, you are somewhere in between that middle. It's not because of the fact that you are not above everyone, but rather where you put yourself intelligence-wise. That is where you should improve. When I think of my own intelligence, I am often considered smart. One of the biggest videos on this channel was the 4.0 student video, in which I dissected how I found my passion through education and books. It wasn't through the process of school and being intelligent there, but rather it was reading books. When we think of books, we tend to think of it as these long periodic points in which you read something over and over and get better at it. The short answer is yes, that is exactly how you will get smarter in the long run. However, there are other tactics along with repetitive notions that will allow you to memorize better and to think better in the long run. By being able to be secure of our knowledge, we can improve on areas that we simply don't know. That is why the education system, while great, fails in today's society. Back in the 1950s and the 1960s, we needed people to be workers. They needed to be in factories and be forced and sent out there. However, we needed a certain level of education that came across that. And that was the reason why math and reading especially is so important. Being able to calculate things and being able to read certain words will allow you to be smarter based on your own social class. Back then, we had poor people who did not get to that level. And the rich, educated people, when I say educated, I mean the readers. They were the ones consistently reading, doing all the hard work, and that was the difference between it. Nowadays, we live in a world that's plagued with so many different areas of education that you can go off forever about all kinds of education and fields. You could be the smartest person who knows how to ride a unicycle, and that alone counts as its own field. We learned that over the course of time, education fits for anyone around us. With that in mind, I want you to think about this idea. Why is education still a problem with modern society, specifically adults? From America, from what I've seen, many people are illiterate. Many people cannot do their maths, and many people cannot recite key information that will get them in the areas of life. Do I say you should memorize entirely and focus all of that instead of educating yourself? No. My tactic for education is all about repetition, but also action. Let's start with the key things we know about education. It's nerdy, it's a lot of words, and it's not fun. Many people around my age call me the smartest one in my grade, when in all actuality, I am still someone continuously learning. This is because of the fact that I don't focus on my grades, but rather spend my time educating myself on my passion. When I think back to that 4.0 video, I think back to how passionate I was to talk about my books. It was something that enhanced my mind, and to be able to read all these books here helped improve me on many levels. If you want to get smarter in any field of life, whether it's for the one you are researching or the one path you are going down, then I heavily suggest that you continue to improve on that craft both in and out of it. There's a reason why college still exists even if we live in a modern society. Those in the health field need the education to be taught that. But it isn't just about improving one area or one mind. It's about improving all kinds of crafts, and that includes your language. Being able to be linguistically better comes from a benefit as to reading this many books. When digesting a book from what an author tells you, whether it is something you're passionate about or not, you learn about a word. I just pulled up a random page here and I think about the word copyright. This is a word that I've seen plenty of times, but I've never truly understood it until I took the time to look into it. I could go on and on about the several different tactics about getting smarter. Being qualified and more intelligent is something that's challenged in modern society. And I want you to ponder on that thought because of how varied different education is. What you're watching right now is education by itself. Being able to consume this video from miles upon miles away is one of the greatest feats in human history. Think about that. You're viewing someone like me who simply sits my ass down and reads books for a living, and you learn. And that's why I suggest you improve your language. You want to be able to maximize your brain as much as possible. Whether you are 25 or not, you will reach a growth capacity where you are at your peak. You want to be physically but also mentally at your peak. And being smarter challenges that in the best way possible. Mentally, you become sharper. And the sharper you become, the better you are at communicating with other people and digesting information much, much easier. Those who come to this video are those in school. And I want you to advocate for the fact that you are someone still learning. The education system is important in knowing why you want to get to the field you want. That said, for all the nerds watching this, it is good to be a nerd. However, you need to be more. Let's go back to the main topic of how you can realistically get smarter. My piece of advice, as I said, is repetition. Repetition plus action equals results. And that is not the way we see. We can view Instagram likes or social media posts all we want, but that is just repetition playing the game over and over. Sometimes I see the most perfect writers writing their best book, and I get jealous. I tend to read their novels, and while great, there's a sense of envy in me. And this isn't because of the fact that I'm slow or I'm the problem, but rather the fact that it's their success. They're able to continuously build upon it over and over. That's the problem with people similar to me. I want to perfect it the best way I can, and when trying to get smarter at a craft, I get egotistical, I get distracted, and I honestly feel disjointed from what I am saying. It sounds fake and it sounds inauthentic, but the more I think about why I am the way I am, the better my mind expands. If you want to be mentally at your peak, as I mentioned earlier, let's say 25 is the peak of your brain. If you want to get to that point where you are now and you're all the way at the bottom here, a realistic way is to just genuinely progress it. That's one of the biggest self-improvement laws out there. But I'm telling you, this process of repetition and procedure over and over again genuinely changed my life. And it started through the simple idea of content. More specifically, books and podcasts. I've always bring this up in every single one of my videos, but brain rot, social media, AI, and all these other dumb shit is consuming our minds, both for the adults and the youth. The adults cannot tell the difference between what is AI and what isn't, and the youth get distracted with brain rot and this constant need to scroll. Going back to the beginning, The reason why you view yourself as dumb is because you are insecure about your own intelligence. I can explode my ego and say, yes, I am smarter than every single one of you, and you need to do this, this, and this. No. What I'm trying to do is to teach it in a manner that's digestible and easy. Going back to the process of books and content. Books are one of my favorite tactics for relaying that information. When we go back to scrolling, we focus our minds on it. We choose it above the book. We choose it above the education. And why I love this process of content and education is because of how much there is. Like going to the gym or getting good sleep, it genuinely becomes fun the moment you start doing it. I adore learning about fiction, and I adore learning about how I can be a better writer. That same case applies to Dean Nelson's Talk to Me, in the fact that I can communicate better questions and better responses. I want to be able to improve on the crafts that I can, because knowing what I struggle with, that makes me insecure. That makes me at a lower point here when I see on social media all the best people are up here. And that problem ruins my life. I assume that's the same case for you as someone similar to me. You watch content from people who you share similar beliefs to. And this focus of reading and writing, for me, genuinely taught me that there is more content out there in the world now more than ever before. I saw content such as long podcasts talking about education, communication, and happiness. It intrigued me. It didn't distract me like the endless Minecraft videos or the endless roll of Instagram reels. It's all about the present. And that's what I genuinely love about things such as books and content like podcasts. You want to focus on something educational. You don't want to read something degenerate or focus on a podcast all about hooking up. What I want you to do to take this information seriously is to know why you want to improve. Think about the area of life you genuinely love. You love astronauts, you love rockets, or something like that. You do not need to watch endless videos about it. What I instead suggest is to take it slowly at a time. Build breadcrumbs one after the other. Let's start with the small. Okay, so you want to read this book all about cooking. Let's just open up the first page, read the first page through, and then we take action. We use that first page, whatever the action is, and implement it in real life. Even if it means just taking out the salt, having the salt in your hand gets you motivation. Being more motivated makes you less insecure. And you keep on doing this with little bit of breadcrumbs over and over. You get the salt, you get the pepper, you get the meat, you get the frying pan, maybe in a different order, but in the same case, you keep on building it over and over until you finally turn the oven on and start cooking. This timeless advice of repetition plus action equals limitless abilities comes from my own understanding of books. I have been working on my book, The Winning Complex, this novel that takes place in the future, documenting the problems of reality TV shows. I've understood this content through my own viewing experience of Squid Game. And that experience changed my life, both educating my mind of what's good and bad, but also understanding what types of messages we need in this world. And you have a fire, you have a passion deep inside of you. Maybe it hasn't opened up, but I'm telling you, with this video, it better be open. To tell a story, to make something genuinely triumphant, to be the first of a craft or the top of that class. I want you to take all that information in to know exactly why you're doing it in the first place. To be more secure of your own mind and to be smarter at the craft you are making. You have to dive deep into what you are researching. You cannot go all blind to say you're the greatest of a certain piece. If you want to be the greatest football player or you want to be the greatest artist, continue to build the breadcrumbs. Nothing will come purely out of luck. It needs to come from a heart and a place where you can continuously evolve. That's why when we see people who get insanely popular by a snap, they lose the traction after several years. If you want to continue that traction, it takes time and effort. Remember, education is not about the process of memorizing things, as school taught us. It is about the process of taking in action, taking in small breadcrumbs, each and every day with repetition and finally equaling the results you want. And I can tell you I'm being genuine with this due to the fact that if I were to lie, I tell you that the greatest tactic to it is just reading, or it's just doing this and that. It will be super fast and it'll only take a few months. But no, the truth is you need to take the breadcrumbs. And even if logistically, like we see in Instagram posts, it will be the best of all the results, that's just you playing the manner of the best game on the whole damn planet. I hope you enjoyed today's video. Use this time to read and watch content that you genuinely aspire towards. And it doesn't have to be something crazy. If you're already watching content like this or similar to that path, great. Stay on this and you can continue improving your reading and writing skills. If you want personal help to write your own story, then check out my Instagram down the link in the description, along with my books down there as well. Until next time, however, keep on reading, keep on writing, and take care.